Welcome to Loaded Mag. I don't even know what episode this is. Is it like 3 or 4? I think
Four.
it is. Episode 4. Another opportunity to wear my fully exclusive Loaded Mag hat sent to me from one of my very good friend Mark Byers over in the USA. So thanks to him for that. So tonight, normally there's 4 of us. The other horseman, Christopher Hall, as we know him, the Avon lady, is missing in action. Apparently, he's had to work hard all day.
Big order.
A big order, yeah. He's doing a load of stuff. Apparently, in Liverpool, lip gloss is a massive seller now that Spoonies is back open. So he's very, very busy.
I think Julie put an order in after she said the other night that she was his biggest fan and everything, didn't she? So.
She did, yeah, exactly. So tonight, normally we chat the match and we chat everything else, but we thought we would bring on a very special guest. Now, some say he has the rugged looks of Jason Statham. I would question that. Some say he is the leader of a cult. Some say he's in the know, but not in the know. Some say he's in it for the fame and the gain, but he's not. But what he is our good friend, Steve Wraith.
Do you really make this up as you go along?
I do, just wing it.
Yeah,
I literally just do wing it.
Good. Let's bring on Steve.
Bad, yeah. I do just wing that.
What an intro.
And I do literally just wing that. I didn't write anything down. That was straight from the heart.
Brilliant.
Welcome, Steve.
Hi, Daz. Hi, Martin. Hi, Rich. Good to see you, lads.
Mate, how are you? Good.
Very good, mate. Very good. Excellent and great to be on. And well done, lads. It's been great to see the show develop and flourish. You know what I mean? I think I've had a couple of conversations with you all, and I think, the one thing you realise is that it's a hard game to be in. But the one thing I've seen when I've seen you do the shows is you're enjoying it, and that's the key. As long as you're enjoying it and you've got people enjoying it, that's the most satisfying thing,
No, it's been good, and I think obviously we've been running for a few weeks. Obviously, we started up, obviously with yourself. We did. We were extremely grateful to get an opportunity to get onto the international show, and then we started doing match days. So for me, it was something, people that know me and obviously know my story in particular, the back end of last year, when I had some real deep personal stuff going on. The shows were really something for me that kept me going. So as I've said to numerous people on numerous times, I will always be grateful for the shot that we got, and to be able to come on and do stuff with Daz and Richie and getting yourself on tonight, and watching the likes of the Amigos and the shows with Liam. I'm it's something for me that's kept my positivity levels there, even when the takeover's been up and down. To me, there's always been this steady constant, and I think it's kind of don't mind the traffic. I'm under the stairs. I'm like, I keep saying it. I'm like a fat Harry Potter under the stairs with all my kids running past. But for me, it's been that the shows, in particular with yourself and stuff, and then moving on to this, has been the one thing that's been fairly constant for me, that's kept my levels up there. So I am genuinely grateful, and it's great to have you on. Yeah.
No, thanks for the invite, lads.
No
I think
worries.
we start properly, lads. I mean, we'll start talking about some topics. Yeah, we have a few items to get through tonight. We're actually going to have a quiz as well later on, so that should be interesting. So let's get straight into it. We're going to talk. We touched on it on Load of Football Weekly on Wednesday, but let's go back into this topic again, and the European Super League. And from this angle, we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the punishment that the English clubs should get. Should they be strung up, I guess? And what would you like to see happen? We talked about financial penalties and maybe giving the money to charity or giving it to the lower leagues the other night. And I know the 10 minutes of the Amigos I saw before I had to switch over to PJ Masks and Paw Patrol was I know that Keith had threw everything at the lads, so at the club. So what would you like to see happen? I guess we go around the table.
Well, let's start with the guest.
Yes,
yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, when you present the show, you don't get an opportunity to have much of an opinion, especially when you have a few guests on. So, yeah, for me, there needs to be punishment. I would expect a minimum of 2 years expulsion from Europe. I think that's only fair. That that was that was what this was all about. A European Super League. So getting rid of them from Europe for a couple of years is certainly going to affect them, because big name players certainly won't want to come because they can't get any Champions League or Europa League. So that would be the first punishment. There needs to be some kind of financial punishment. I was reading a little bit earlier before our show tonight that there was supposedly in the documentation that all of these clubs signed a financial fine if anybody withdrew from it. Well, if that's the case, they're going to get fined by this Super League that didn't even get off the ground. That'll be interesting. But yeah, there needs to be some kind of financial fine which is going to hit them hard in the pocket. And I would say a points deduction as well. But we're not going to get all of that. I don't expect the governing bodies to have the guts to do all of that. But I do think there will be some punishment. But I just think, I think European expulsion for 2 years is the norm in these kind of situations, and it's a punishment that would fit the crime, and that in itself will affect them massively. I just hope, and my biggest hope is that this is starts a chain of events which sees Masters and Hoffman held accountable for what they've been doing with this, but also with our takeover, and sees Newcastle's opportunity of a takeover by the Saudis, more imminent, and it goes through easier because they've been the sticking points. Hoffman and Masters have been the biggest sticking points for our takeover. It's clear now why that there's been this delay, and looking at all the fallout from it as well, it's almost been predictable. As you guys are, I'm in various WhatsApp groups, and just to hear some of the stuff that the likes of Steve Hasty, Neil Mitchell, Keith Patterson, John Waff, 4 people whose opinions I trust implicitly, stuff that they've predicted over the last 12 months has ultimately come true. And, talk of a Super League was something that Malcolm MacDonald spoke about 15 years ago on Century Radio's The Three Legends. So these things have been in the offing for a long time. They've started to come to fruition, but I think it's just the power of this corrupt six, as it was, is obviously stopped our takeover. And I think that I really balked at the journalist who put the fact, was alluding to the fact that the takeover was probably going to be off if what he heard was true was going to come out. What he was essentially trying to insinuate was that that the Saudis were putting the money in for the Super League, which is absolute rubbish. Will these people stupid nothing? Is there nothing that they won't do to try and get this Saudi deal to collapse or to blacken the Saudi name? The Saudi takeover is the one that Newcastle fans want because it'll make us the richest club in the world and will put us at the top of the tree. And rightly so. That's where the Saudis should be with the investment that they're going to put in. That's what they're frightened of, and I hope, in my heart of hearts, that this just helps the process and speeds it up.
Yeah, Daz, what's your view on it?
Well, first of all, I want to say to John, thanks very much for the T-shirt. The custom built. There's only one other version of this in the world.
There is.
The guy has it.
It's hanging up in my wardrobe, yeah.
But thanks, John, for that. That was a nice little gift. My thoughts. I was on the punishment. Yeah, after we talked about it on Wednesday night, I thought a guard of honor from the owners, from the six owners, welcoming Amanda, Mirdad, Piff, and the Reuben brothers onto the pitch. That'd do me. I'd be happy with that. Forget the financial penalties. That'd be me happy. Go on.
Yeah, I just can't see the Premier League hitting them hard, or certainly from a point of the league's perspective. Whether UEFA will do something, I think that's maybe more likely. As Steve said, with the European competitions. I thought Chris's point the other night was really good about if there was a financial penalty that it was handed down to the lower leagues, down from League 2 and League 1, apart from the Mackhams. But if there was a bit of money there, I think reinvesting it in grassroots and stuff would be a great idea. The likes of clubs like Dunstan, Newcastle Blue Star, and clubs like that, that need that bit of money to keep them going on this time. But I think it will open a can of worms. I think there's certainly, listening to Keith and some of the stuff that I've seen, taking aside these ones that like to promote the anti-Saudi, I suppose, picture, that for me, I think this just blows open even more of what we as Newcastle fans. And I said this the other night on Loaded Football. I spent Tuesday evening pretty much having an online spat with a Spurs fan after it broke about deluded Geordies and would we have gone for it if the Saudis had owned us and all this stuff. Listen, maybe we might have. Who knows? But we didn't. We don't have the Saudis. We have Mike Ashley, but he was trying to give us a spiel about they went for it and the reasons why and how much they had a shocking owner and all this other stuff. And I just when I was reading and I was having the spat with him, it was just like he made a comment something about you guys are absolutely shite, and I said to him, yeah, but we've had Mike Ashley for 14 years. You've had Daniel Levy in a 900 million stadium. What have you done in that 14 years? Because you've done jack shit like we've done. And he had no answer to it. Now, in fairness to the lad, I forget his name now. He did actually tweet me yesterday. He went, "Hi mate, listen, no bad feeling. Just kind of everyone gets irritated about it." And I went back to him. I said, "Listen, we've all got crap owners, but fans win out. Football without fans is nothing." So, I think takeover wise, I'm still confident. And I think Keith probably is very, very well positioned with some of the stuff that's come out from an anti-competition point of view. Because I think it's there. I think the picture is there for people to see. And I think, to quote Liam Kennedy, I think the dots are joining elsewhere within the backgrounds. And I think we'll have a fruitful day at some point this year, sometime, I think. Richie?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think, if we've known about the top six for a long time, haven't we? It's really much sure when Richard Masters was the third choice, wasn't he? And that was obviously every single person that was recommended was by Bruce Buck, who is, I think he's one of the head of the panel who was choosing the position. And of course, whereas he works at Chelsea. And then once the original people who were put forward went through, they then had to go and have a private meeting with, I think it was Liverpool and Man United, who both then rejected the original candidates. So we noticed that collusion being there for a very, very long time. Regards to the punishment, as I said the night, and the only I thought about it in the last 40 hours. The only thing that's bad about what I suggested was, unfortunately, the fans and the players would be pushed by that. And obviously, that's something that I wouldn't like to see. The fans shouldn't be penalised for something that wasn't their fault. The players at the end of the day, their careers are short, but that doesn't mean their careers are with that club for the rest of their career. There's about to be millions of other clubs that would take them, because obviously other teams will then start to benefit financially if there's going to be these European bans and the fines that the Big Six will get. The areas that they're all getting being fined 300 million for leaving the European Super League. Obviously, what Steve mentioned earlier about the financing by the Saudis, that's a load of bollocks as well, because it was JP Morgan from America that was putting this stuff up the $6 billion for the European Super League as well. So I don't know where Luke is getting these source from that, but that's obviously a load of bollocks as well. But I would like to see something a bit like what happened to Rangers. As I discussed the other night on Loaded Football Weekly, I would love to see them all be made an example of and relegated to League Two. And as I said the other night, the reason why I said I'd like to do that is because, yes, the clubs are going to get penalised. Obviously, you move 6 up from the Championship, 6 up from League One, and 6 up from League Two, and then they're still going to have good attendances because people are always going to want to go and see these teams. But it's going to benefit the teams in the lower leagues because their attendances for home games are going to be increased. So that's going to increase the cash flow at that level. But also, only 3-4 teams can be brought from League Two. So that means 2 of them are going to be kept down there. And it's going to be a dog-eat-dog world for them. And it's going to turn around and prove that football and fans is always the winner. And it isn't about money. And that's what some of these clubs and the owners need to realise, that that's what the case is. Football is nothing without the fans. We pay the players' wages, and I think that's what the owners forget about. And I know they've blamed COVID for the financial struggles, but one thing that I've learned, and I probably the 3 of you will agree on, is that football's been nothing these last 12 months with closed doors. You know, it's the fans, the atmosphere. You know, watching the games on TV with pumped in crowd noise. It's not the same. You know, as I mentioned tonight, the Newcastle season would have been completely different if we'd had 52,000 there every single week. Steve Bruce wouldn't have had the walk in the park he's had all season. So, you know, I just think I would love to see them put down at League Two. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think the authorities have got the balls to do something like that. As I said, the only downside about it was the fact that with the fans who don't deserve to be punished, and obviously the players can move on if that was the case. But I don't think it will happen. But I would love to see it happen and made an example of. But there we go.
Yeah, just all the different suggestions I'm hearing. Like I kind of take it as a bit of a joke, because I can't see anything happen to them at all. I think it'll just move on in a couple of weeks, and the season will be over, and it'll all be forgotten about. If it was 6 teams in the 14 and not the top 6 or big 6, then something would happen. But no, they'll get away with it. They have done with everything else. I can't see it happen. But I hope something does. But no,
yeah. Do you think, Steve, with this? I know. You know, obviously we do chat in the group and stuff. You know, and Mitch talks a lot about, you know, the instability of a lot of League One and League Two clubs who are, you know, this is the tip of the iceberg, and, you know, some of the financials. Do you think with the ESL getting the knockback and some of these clubs pulling away, do you think there'll be a second run at the Project Big Six? Do you think there'll be another power grab attempt, Steve, at all?
Oh, it's a hard one, really, because, you know, they've been left with egg on their face. And I mean, if there's going to be financial penalties or punishment, it'll certainly make them think twice. I mean, you know, reports were coming out tonight on Sky that the other 14 clubs were demanding that the chief executives, etc., you know, resign from the top 6 clubs. You know, the chairman and the chief executives. I mean, again, I can't see that happening. I think if there is another power play, it'll be a bit further down the line. I certainly think the takeover situation for us will have reached its conclusion. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think after 2 back-to-back proposals, 2 back-to-back defeats, I think that from our perspective, I don't think we'll see something like this again. But I think what we might find is, once the punishments are dished out or not, as Daz says, I think we will see some kind of restructuring. I mean, it's part and parcel of football, and competitions, rules, etc., are always restructured, and that's ultimately, you know how football changes, how it progresses. And I think we've just got to be thankful, really, that the Premier League, you know, in a nutshell, is and the clubs and the fans, you know, have protested against this. You know, people aren't happy, and they've shown that, you know, as a united force, football fans coming together can be quite a power. And it was pleasing to see that. You know, it was pleasing to see the people making a stand at Chelsea. People are making a stand at Arsenal tonight, and, you know, from my perspective, it's fan power. You know, we've talked, you know, many occasions about fans getting involved at the clubs, and again, I think that's pie in the sky. I don't think, you know, I've seen the talk of 51% fan ownership of clubs. That'll never happen. Not in my lifetime, I don't think. But it could happen at a smaller league club. A Premier League club, no. You know, I mean, it's vast amounts of money that's needed for that. And, you know, if John Hall can't run a football club, then I don't see how 51% shareholding from football fans can happen. But, no, answer your original question, I can't see it happening. Not anytime soon, anyway.
Okay. What? Cool. Go on, Dad. I'll just have one last one, really. Just obviously some of the stuff we've seen. What did you make of the video that our good friend Al-Wali posted with the owner of Sheffield United on the Saudi show? Seemed to be a few worms tossed out of the can on that one. Do you think there's anything in that there is a separate kind of WhatsApp group for the 14, and that the 6 are having pre-meetings with the Premier League before the normal meeting of the 20? Do you think there was anything in that interview?
Talk about chucking hand grenades out. And I mean, well done, Al-Wali, for translating it and putting it up there. And shame on the journalist who decided to try and steal it and make it his own work. Yeah. You know, but well done, Al-Wali, for doing that. And yeah, hand grenades being chucked out left, right, and centre. And that again is just all stuff which I'm sure Nick DeMarco and co are collecting in their basket and putting away for a rainy day. But it makes no surprise, that the allegations of private meetings going on a day before with the top six to brief them. It's no surprise that stuff like that is being leaked out and is coming out, and it's no shock. It shouldn't be a shock to us. And I think all of that will leave a huge paper trail, whether it's emails, whether it's WhatsApp groups, whatever it is. Technology now, you can't hide anything. And I do think that if it comes to a full investigation, things need to be confiscated from the various people at the Premier League. I think essentially we will see that all standing in good stead for Newcastle. I think heads will roll. I think heads will roll at the Premier League. And I feel that, listen, for 12 months, I've told everybody I'm 100% positive the takeover will go through. And I still believe it will. It's just a case of when. Is it going to happen next week? Is it going to happen the week after? Probably not. But I just think we'll wake up one morning and it'll be done. I think the biggest plus point for this, and I've said this all along, is Mike Ashley wants to sell Newcastle United. And he wants to sell it, not just to anybody, but he wants to sell it to the Saudis. And for me, that is a massive, massive plus. It's a case of watch this space, lads.
Yeah, no, agreed. Daz?
Yeah, no, before we start the quiz, just want a reminder, because I'll forget it myself, to say thanks everyone for watching, to like and comment, and hit that subscribe button, please. That would greatly help us as we try to grow. Okay, I think it's time for the quiz. And are you getting nervous, Steve? Because we sprung this on you. I don't know, did you even see my tweet today?
I did funny enough, I did one before Christmas. I got asked to go into somewhere. It wasn't a football thing. I was more surprised on there. And they suddenly just started coming out. He says, we're going to do a quiz. Newcastle United, we thought would be your specialist subject. And I was like, wow. And it was just out of nowhere. But I did okay. So, give it your best shot. If it's general knowledge or it's anything like that, I'm absolutely screwed. But if it's football, I've got half a chance.
It could be Anthony if you've watched.
Yeah, it could be anything. If you've watched it, yeah, exactly.
I know, but I thought as somebody who gave you an in with podcast, you'd be kind to us, Daz. In fact, I thought you'd send us the answers.
Yeah. See, I was more thinking of just inventing 4 questions to make you look a bit daft so we could have a laugh.
I couldn't look any dafter, lads, let's face it.
This is goodbye, Steve, so I'm afraid. Loaded Mag Quiz.
That's Steve Wraith.
Okay, just to build it up a bit as well, let's kind of get in the mood. Pressure's on now. Now, here we go. So the format here is going to be, I'll go with 4 questions. Then Martin will take 4 or 3 or 4, and Richie the same. So first up, and we haven't consulted really, so it could be Anthony. So I give you a little bit of a menu so you can pick which question you want to choose first. So pick a category, Steve.
Is it my life? I'll take NUFC.
NUFC. Okay, first question, NUFC. Which legend in their prime, apart from Alan Shearer, would you place in today's squad under Steve Bruce? This opinion is my question, my style of questions here.
Which player? I would put... It's got to be a midfield player because that's where we're lacking. So I would probably go with Scott Sellers.
Scott Sellers.
Ooh. Great goal against the Mackhams in the rain.
Wide of the mark. I wasn't expecting that one. Scott Sellers. Okay. Very good.
Why Scott Sellers, Steve?
Left footers. Great left foot.
Yeah.
He's a great player, mercurial player. He's got a lot of skill. And I don't know, it's just, I love watching him play. A lot of people would probably expect, a little bit further on with the entertainers, but Scott Sellers was fantastic. And until David Ginola came in, he was, you wouldn't have looked past him. Great with a free kick. We're not very good at free kicks. We don't score many goals from free kicks. But I just loved him. He had players on the back foot. I would add Scott Sellers. Yeah, Scott Sellers is definitely the answer.
Okay. Next category.
I'll go with film.
Film. Okay. My question for film is, okay, you can star in the remake of any film. What film and what role would you choose?
Henry Hill in Goodfellas.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice
Like it.
one.
Daz, you could do the what do you call him?
He could play Spider.
Yeah.
Which was played by the guy who ended up playing Christopher Moltisanti in The Sopranos.
Oh, interesting fact. Next category, Steve.
TV.
Okay, TV. Line myself up here. Okay, TV. Because it's kind of a double part question. Have you met them, and who is your favorite of Ant and Dec?
Oh yeah, well, I've met them a few times. I've got to be honest, I get on very well with Ant, mainly because of like for alcohol. Dec, you would always see very well behaved. Ant used to like a night out. Obviously, when I worked the doors in Newcastle, I had a couple of sessions with Ant. But yeah, I worked with his sister as well. When I was head doorman at Legends on Grey Street many, many moons ago, his sister was the receptionist at the nightclub. So, yeah, I got to know them very well over the years. Never worked with them, although we did both, all of us appear in the very, very, very last episode of Biker Grove. They appeared as themselves. I played... believe it or not, in a dream sequence, I played a zombie. It took us 4 hours in makeup. But yeah, so we did all appear in Biker Grove. I appeared in Biker Grove as an extra 4 times. But that was the piece de resistance. We all appeared in the very final episode of it. But I didn't get invited to the end of Biker Grove party either, which was very disappointing. But yeah, met them a few times. But they always stop and talk. And they always remember us, which is great. So it's nice, cool. nice. But Ant's probably the one who I got on with the best, but probably because we're both like a night out.
Nice one. It really matches you, Martin, I think.
What?
Ant, yeah, that's what you're Ant, and I'm Dec.
Oh, yeah, I like a good beer and a night out. And once we get some vaccinations, I'm holding Steve to his. Don't
worry, lads.
I'm getting out on the piss as soon as we can over in Newcastle.
100%, yeah.
100%. And that will be a night out to remember.
Oh, it will be.
Okay, last category, Steve, is life. Okay, my question here, Steve, is you work in a variety of roles: actor, YouTuber, writer, producer, promoter, blah, 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 blah. And you have previously held a position in UFC. If you were to settle on one role and one job for life, and park the rest, what would that be?
Actor.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do. I've got no desire in anything else. I want to really make it as an actor. That is the main idea now. And lockdown hasn't changed that. The podcast stuff, you call as a YouTuber, I suppose I am, but that has never been an aim. It was always set up to entertain people at home during lockdown and to help me keep my sanity and to talk about something I enjoy talking about, which is football. It's diversified. I've interviewed controversial characters, gone on to interview another one today, Darren G, who splits a huge opinion. But for me, ultimately, I want to be an actor. And, I went back, I did a degree as a mature student. I've trained in it, and that is the goal. And, landed a couple of new parts. I'll be filming again at the back end of this year and filming at the start of next year. I got my first lead villain role in January next year. So, I'm going to concentrate on that. Doesn't always pay the bills, though. That's why I have to spin a lot of plates, lads.
Very good.
Cheers, Steve. That's my questions finished. Over to you, Martin.
See, I didn't get as technical as you did, Daz. I kind of went with some complete off the cuffs as Steve takes a little drink of water there. So mine to see how much you know about the things you talk about.
Okay.
So question number 1, which is a 2-parter. First question: how many styles of Jab sportswear hoodies do they sell?
Ooh, are we talking male and female?
No, male only.
Male only.
So how many different styles of Jab hoodie are there available?
Now, to be honest, I've only seen 4.
Okay. The answer is 8.
Wow, I've only seen 4.
Here is part 2 of your question. How many colors does the standard hoodie come in?
How many colours?
Yeah.
6.
Oh, that's close. 7. I'll give you. That's a good answer, though. Well done. Okay, next question. This is a Newcastle question. Against which side did Alan Shearer score his first ever NUFC goal against in a friendly?
Now if you said league, I was going to say Wimbledon with a free
Exactly,
kick.
yeah. Wimbledon's right, but who did he? His first ever goal was in a friendly.
God, obviously he flew out to the Far East to join Newcastle's friendly out there. Did he play and did he score in the Far East? Don't think he did. Was it in Ireland? Did he go to? Did he play an Irish team?
He was in Ireland, but this is against an English team. The score was 2-0, and he scored a penalty. It was the second goal.
So it's got. You stumped us there. Very good question. That I'll not forget it again. Go on. It must have been against. It must have been against somebody like. It'll have been a lower league team like bloody Lincoln or something like that.
It was Lincoln City, indeed.
Was it?
It was, yeah, well done.
Hold on.
Fucking out of the fire. High five.
Do
you know what it is? I'm sitting there saying,
you know what? That comes from being on. I was on a bus going to a stag do, and I got a phone call from somebody who. I've got a phone call from somebody who was a Lincoln fan that day to say they'd scored because I wasn't at that game. I was on a stag do that weekend. So wow, thank you for that. Thanks for that phone call, whoever that was again.
Yeah, no, that's actually disappointing because I thought I fucking had you there for a minute.
Well, that makes up for the jab. That makes up for the jab question.
Close.
So, and Nathan's calling you horrible on the question on the
He's not finished yet, Steve.
yeah, I'm not finished. Still got 2 more yet. Next question. This is a TV question, given the whole links to your acting and everything else. Which ITV drama featured a storyline where the 2 suspects were reenacting the crimes of the Cray twins?
Oh, yes.
I think you'll get this.
That was Whitechapel.
Correct. Well done. And then my last one, which I had to throw together because Chris bailed out. Since lockdown, how many one-off NUFC Matters T-shirts have there been?
Very good question. Wow. No, that's a stab in the dark, isn't it? One-offs. Okay. I'm going to go with 18.
18. The actual answer is, I don't know either, but they have raised a load of money for really good causes. So, well done to you and all of those people that did stick their hand in the pocket. In particular, George Mitchell, who I know buys them regularly. But yeah, look, that was my fault, just to have a bit of crack and a bit of fun. But
Brilliant,
yeah,
mate,
well,
brilliant.
the answers there.
Well done to George Hayes, who paid £150 for the one last week, which saved my blushes because Pete Davey was the only person who bid for mine, and it was 25 quid. And I can imagine him asking me for that money if he'd bought it. But yeah, George in America, 150 quid, and like you say, everybody who's spent money on them, you know, probably over $2.5 raised for the food bank now, which is excellent.
Yeah, exactly,
Thank
which
you.
is brilliant.
Thanks to John from Q-Tech.
I was just going to say, especially to John as well, that does get them prepped and stuff. And thanks for mine and Daz's that we got sent.
Exactly.
Big thanks for that.
John doesn't know either.
Right, Richie, go on.
Well, I knew what Martin had lined up for you, Steve, so I was a bit more gentle with the questions that I've got. But to be fair, mine's a bit like what Daz, what's more about opinion, but I've actually stuck with football here, so you should do all right with it. As I said, it's more about opinion. So, what's your favourite away game that you've ever been on? And that can be either with Newcastle or non-league with something like Dunstan, because obviously you're a big fan of Dunstan.
My favourite away game that I ever went to was Tranmere away in the Zenith Data Systems Cup. which will be a bizarre choice, but people who were there will remember why, and that's because it was 6-6. It was the first televised Sky game, I think, that Newcastle were involved in. There was 3 hat-tricks in the game. Gavin Peacock got a hat-trick. John Aldridge got a hat-trick for Tranmere. I think as well Mickey Quinn was the other one. So I think it was 3 hat-tricks in the game, but it was 6-6. We lost on penalties, 7-6 in the game. But I just loved Tranmere. There was a bar outside called the Mersey Clipper. That was just a bizarre away game. It was a great trip from start to finish. But on top of that, any game at Blackburn, and everybody knows why, because Blackburn again was just a great away trip. Wasn't too far to go to. Another wonderful bar outside. But yeah, I've done the European trips, done the Wembley trips, been very lucky. But yeah, for people have asked us that one before, and Tranmere 6-6 is just that was my favourite away game ever.
Well, next question links on to your favourite away game, but what's the favourite stadium that you've been to, bar obviously St James's Park?
Favourite stadium is, if we're going to go Europe, and we'll go the UK, Barcelona, the new camp, just unbelievable. It's a sight to behold for any football fan going there, and it's just an amazing occasion to be part of. Obviously, we didn't have the glory of having a chock-a-block stadium, but it's still just that whole ethos of even just being in the Champions League and playing Barcelona. Those nights, I just can't wait for them to return, and I'm sure they will with a takeover. As for this country, I've got to say Sunderland. And it's just because of what it means. It's the whole day. It's the whole. I don't go on the club bus. I always go on the train. So there's a certain atmosphere and feeling when you go on the train. It's very much us and them. And I can remember going down to the old Roker Park and like the train windows going out at Seaburn, and I can remember running the gauntlet, walking down the old. Walking down the streets, and house bricks getting chucked at us and all that. But yeah, it gets the adrenaline going. It gets the it gets the whole blood boiling at times, and but it's just that whole atmosphere. And then you get to the ground, and it's just the collective. You're like an army, really. You get there, and you're like, we've got you, happy days, and then you're singing your heart out for the full 90 minutes, win, lose, or draw. That's what it's about. That's what being a football fan's about. And it's the tribalism. It's been herded like cattle, but it's what we're used to, and it's what we've missed in lockdown.
Yep.
Yeah, great. I know all of us are going to have one of these, and I want to know, it doesn't have to, obviously you touched on Tranmere and 6-6 as being your favourite game. That doesn't necessarily mean this is going to be the case with us, but I want to know what's your most memorable moment in any game that you've watched?
Oh, memorable game.
Just even a moment, that it could just be even a moment that you just amazing.
Tino's hat trick against Barcelona, Philip Albert chipping the ball over Schmeichel to make it 5, to make it 5 and finish that day off the way it should have been. Andy Cole breaking Hughie Gallagher's record. Alan Shearer breaking the Jackie Milburn record. I was lucky enough to be at Leicester. When we won that game 2-1, and I was there at home when Kelly scored against Portsmouth to secure our place really in the division. So there's so many memories. One that if I had to pick one out of everything, it's a goal, and I've mentioned it again many times before on my show, and just when anybody asks, and it's Paul Gascoigne's goal for Newcastle against Crystal Palace, which was in the FA Cup, and he hit the ball from outside the box and it just got stuck in the stanchion. You can see it on YouTube still to this day, but that was just fantastic. And I mean, that was in the old Gallagher as well. I was behind it. I was in the scoreboard that day, so I was right. I was right behind it. But yeah, that's probably the one that would stand out for me. Memorable goal by a memorable player.
Well, you killed your last question by answering that last bit on that one. So what I'll do is I'll just tell us. We'll just go around our memorable moments on that one. So my memorable moment was Philip Albert's chip, because obviously it was a fantastic game, fantastic goal. But not just that, I was sat in a pub in Menorca with my stepdad, surrounded by Man United fans, and I was the only Newcastle fan in there. So that's why I enjoyed that so much. Martin, what about you?
The goal at Grimsby to clinch promotion. That was probably I suppose a lifetime moment in that it got promotion. Keegan probably had one of the worst jacket and tie combinations on you'd ever seen, and then got doused royally with a box of ice. So that for me, the celebrations, the vivid yellow and green strip that we wore, were the things that stood out for me. But that was just a historical moment in getting us into the league. So for me, that's one of my standout moments.
For me, I presume you're talking about live. So I've only been to a handful of Premier League games, and then it's friendlies after that. So I'm going to go with the first game I went to. It was where Shearer scored, so I got to see a Shearer goal, but we did lose 2-1 in the game where Edgar Goodjohnson scored twice at St James's Park. So, but yeah, just to see a Shearer goal. At least I can always say that.
Cool.
That's for me. That's all your questions, Chris?
That's it. Yeah, that was it. He summed up his favourite goal and his memorable moments, so that was why.
There you go. See, that quiz wasn't too hard, and to be fair, the gaffer did all right.
You did all right, yeah.
Cheers, lads. The jab one though, that was a good one.
Yeah. I said to Daz, I'm going to ask him about jab, and he went, "Don't make him look daft." Right? So I went, he's all right. I watched the Amigos. He's wearing a jab shirt. He knows his shit. We'll crack on. He'll be fine.
Okay, I think we'll switch tact again, and we're going to bring out another special guest. People might think it's Rafa, but I want to talk about Liverpool and Newcastle, our game on Saturday. And Martin put out a request to Keith yesterday, to Keith Roll, a regular listener to our shows and to Steve's and Your Matter shows. So I want to welcome Keith. And I would have guessed, we just said to him off air, I would have guessed that Keith would have been about 65, that kind of age group. But this is Keith, everybody. Welcome, Keith, to the show.
Welcome, Eddie.
Good evening, Keith. You all right?
Hi, are you okay? Thanks so much for having us on, and thanks for the kind words there, Daz.
No problem, Keith.
No problem, mate. Thanks for coming on.
So we'll let's get straight into it, lads. Actually, no, let's ask you a question, Keith. What's the first game you've been to? It's a question Steve normally asks everyone that comes on to NFC Matters. So let's ask it on this show as well.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. It was probably my favourite era supporting Newcastle, the Bobby Robson era, the early 2000s, and it was a damn scrub affair. It was Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0 at the end of the 2001 season. I saw the league champions. I saw Arsenal win. I saw Arsenal win the league that year. But it was Newcastle 0, Arsenal 0 at. I was in the Sir John Ola side end.
Cool.
Pretty good.
Nice one, Keith. We'll get straight into it, guys. Let's go into team selection first. What do you think he's going to do tomorrow? For me, I think he's going to go exact same team again. He's going to stick with 5 at the back. Obviously, he's playing Liverpool. He's going to go a bit more defensive, and it's worked for him the last couple of weeks. And I think he'd stick with the same lineup as well, and only bring on Wilson to get maybe 45 minutes, and then really keep him for the Arsenal game. And that's where he could probably do his most damage. Let him loose, start him from there. So I'm expecting pretty much the same. Bar any injuries, I don't know. I think there's anyone from that squad out injured. I haven't heard anyway. But what's your thoughts?
Do you want to go, mate?
Let's go around the house. Yeah, let's go to you first, Martin.
Yeah, I think you're right. Although I wouldn't be surprised to see Wilson start. I know, obviously, the presser this morning, Bruce was saying that obviously him and St. Maximum are raring to go. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see Wilson start. But I think. Will he be on the bench? Probably, but it wouldn't shock me to see him start. who he comes on for, whether it's Joe Linton, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'd expect it to be fairly similar, the three with the two wing backs, and I think obviously Shelby and Sean in midfield. So yeah, I think it'll be fairly the same, Daz. Can't see there'll be too many major shocks. Shah obviously back in training and pictured this week as well. So all positives. We seem to be getting players back. I've not heard nothing on Lascelles or anything. So as most people know that watch me on these shows, I'm not a lover of Lascelles. So the longer he's not my captain, the longer he's missing, the better for me. I just genuinely think we play better when he's not in it. That's just my opinion, but look, each to their own. But yeah, I think it'll be the same. Richie?
I'm probably the same as what you and as I said, like one of the things as a manager is you don't really change a winning team, do you? And the last 3 games there's been that the performance level's been a million times better than it has been for the majority of the season. So I think you'll probably stick with the same. I know that they said that Wilson's had a good week in training. So I'd like to see him start, but I'd love to see Shelby dropped, and I'd like to see Willock in his place. I don't rate Shelby full stop, but unfortunately, vice captain, so he'll be the first name on the team sheet. So the only people I would like to have seen him would be Wilson for Joe Linton, and Willock in for Shelby, but I will not be surprised if he will name exactly the same starting 11 tomorrow. Steve?
Yeah, for me, I don't expect many changes. I've got to agree with all of you. Obviously, Steve Bruce confirmed today Callum Wilson and ASM are both fully fit. Also confirmed that Ryan Fraser and Carl Darlow are both unavailable and probably won't play for the rest of the season. Both are going to have operations. As for Liverpool, obviously, they're missing a few. Henderson, Gomez, Matip, Van Dijk all still out. Curtis Jones, Nat Phillips both doubtful as well. I think it's a free hit. I think that's the way we've described it on UFC Matters this week. It is an opportunity really for for Steve Bruce to probably rest a few if he wanted, but I don't think he will. I think he'll reward the team by probably putting out an unchanged team. He might change the formation, but why should he? He's found a winning formation. Let's go with it. And the substitutions have proved to be the right substitutions at the right time. So, I think Willock will play his part at some point. And I do think we'll see, the likes of Wilson on. But the team that he picked last week, I think that would be the team he probably goes for. And I don't know. We all just seem to be a little bit more confident. I know it's a typical Newcastle fan reaction after we've put together some decent results, but I think it's 93-94 was the last season Newcastle beat Everton and Liverpool, at their grounds in the same season. So I wouldn't be surprised, if we pull off a shock. And let's also remember that we've seen crowd scenes at Arsenal tonight where they're protesting against Arsenal. I expect to see the same at Liverpool tomorrow, and that might just unnerve them a little bit because we haven't had supporters at grounds, for 12 months. Of course, they had supporters outside the ground when they won the league, but this won't be a group of fans cheering them into the stadium. Could be interesting. That might play its part tomorrow. You never know. And how's the dressing room feeling after all of this unease and unrest? And players looking ahead to European competitions for their national teams now as well. All of this plays its part. It could be a good time for us to play Liverpool tomorrow.
Okay.
Over to our newbie, Keith, the stat man.
Well, if there's anything to go by and anything we've learned from Steve Bruce this season, it's that he doesn't really change his side very often. I don't think he's really going to be changing his winning side in the last couple of games. So I'd actually be amazed if he doesn't start with Joe Linton. Joe Linton actually scored 2 goals in the last 2 home games. Despite being as much derided as he is, he's actually in form in the last couple of games, and he seems to have faith as well in the likes of Shelby. So as much as the comments go about Shelby being lazy and the long ball thing, he seems to really trust Shelby for whatever reason. And but I would admit that Joe Willock's given him a selection headache as well. And for the next game, and why shouldn't Joe Willock be playing? I mean, Joe Willock's scored 3 goals in 9 games since he came from Arsenal. And he's put a good argument there that he should actually be starting.
Okay. So obviously we reached out during the week and we were chatting yesterday, myself and yourself, and I said, right, dig deep. Newcastle v Liverpool at Anfield, all Liverpool games. Come on and give us a 5-minute spiel and give us a few statistics. So the other night on Loaded Football, you were firing them in, and we were like, I said to Daz off air afterwards, I was like, holy shit, this lad's fairly decent with the old stats. So here you are this evening. So give us a few. What have you got for us? Give us a bit of info.
Well, first of all, before I start the stats, I'll just say that Andre is the man. Nobody touches him. He's an absolute legend. But I've got some stats. I've pulled some stats together, and it makes grim reading. So I'll start with a couple of the grim ones, and then I'll try and end with a positive. Number 1, no Newcastle United win in 24 Premier League games at Anfield since 1994. The last win was in 1994. Liverpool nailed Newcastle 2 when Peter Beardsley and Andy Cole played. Rob Lee and Cole got the goals. Newcastle's record at Anfield in all competitions since 93-94, played 27, 2, drawn 4, and lost 20. No win at Anfield since 1995. That was the last win in Newcastle with the Steve Watson wonder goal. No win for Newcastle in the last 8 Premier League games against Liverpool. 3 draws and 5 defeats. The last win was 2-0 2015. It was Gini Wijnaldum in the Premier League. A couple of goals there.
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp's record as Liverpool manager versus Newcastle in the Premier League: played 9, won 5, drawn 3, and lost 1. The positives, there's always goals in this fixture at Anfield. The last goalless draw between the two sides was in 1970, so 51 years ago. And I would take 0-0 now, to be honest. For guarantees, well, a point extra to safety. Again, touching on the goals there in the fixture, 82 in the Premier League in that fixture alone at Anfield. 61 goals for Liverpool, 21 for Newcastle. The most common goal scorers in this Jurgen Klopp side for Liverpool against Newcastle. No surprises here. Mo Salah and Sadio Mane, 4 goals each. Here we are. Here's a positive to round off my stats on Liverpool versus Newcastle. If Newcastle win tomorrow, it'll be the first time they've won 3 Premier League games in a row since November 2018, when Rafa Benitez was in charge. So it's a big ask for Bruce, but you never know. With all those fans that Steve was talking about there, being outside Liverpool's ground, making it uncomfortable for you, you've got to hope as a Newcastle fan, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we have, mate. The good thing is, if we do win down there tomorrow, then I'm sure Steve Bruce will be saying that's 3 back-to-back. So there you go. Right, thanks for that, Keith. Great stuff.
Really, you give Andre a run for his money there. Nice one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair play. Maybe we'll go around the table and just a quick prediction. How about that? I think we're going to lose 2-1. I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think I take Steve's point. I think it's a free hit. So I think we just go at them. Don't do nothing stupid. If we do get a couple of knocks, take them off, and don't run the risk. We need them for latter games. I think, although we're fairly safe-ish given West Brom's defeat in that the other night, I think we're thereabouts. But I think it'll be 2-0 to Liverpool, unfortunately, tomorrow. But it's a free hit, free game. So
along the same lines, Martin, it is a complete free hit, and I think the only thing I'd like to say tomorrow is if we are going to lose, we go down with a fight. I just don't want to see something where we've got, park the bus like like we did against West Ham when we went 2-0 up, and we've tried to protect what we had, sort of thing. I just hope he doesn't want to protect the 0-0, because they've got injuries at the back. Do you know what I mean? So we need to start. We've got the attacking people who can actually attack. So I do think we'll lose, but I think we'll lose by an odd goal in 3. So I think it'll probably be like a 2-1, something like that.
I'm gonna go 2-1 in Newcastle tomorrow. I've got a feeling there's going to be a shock. I think I'm not sure what the team is going to be, but as I say, we're going to go for a potentially an unchanged team. But I think the substitutions will change it. I think Willock will play his part. Yeah, I'm going to go a 2-1 win to Newcastle.
Okay, Steve.
I do think we'll lose, but I think we'll lose by an odd goal.
I think it's gonna.
Keith's back in 1995.
Yeah, Keith. I think you might have YouTube on in the background. It's probably just if you kill that and then I'll put you back on. You'll be able to hear you then. Try again. Now go for it now, Keith.
Hi guys, sorry I was having issues. Hi guys.
Give us a prediction for
sorry,
tomorrow,
I was having
mate.
issues with my mic there. 2-0 to Liverpool. You never know with the fans, but outside, and all the injuries. But I think it's going to be 2-0 routine win to Liverpool tomorrow. Not the hammering that we've had in previous years, but routine win.
Okay, look.
Nice
Thanks
one,
for that, Keith.
Yeah, I think. Anything else we want to talk about, lads? We wrap it up.
I think Martin better do a sponsor review.
That's right, because we forgot that. Yeah,
good point. Yeah. See, now you see the difference between a professional podcaster in the gaffer and us. We're like, yeah, that's a great show, isn't it? Let's wrap up because the sponsor, yeah. So yes, Daz popping up there. So yes, Centre Rail, our kind sponsors for Loaded Mag, Bruce and the team down at Centre Rail, located in Central Station in the heart of Newcastle upon Tyne. Purveyors of fine ales, pale ales, IPAs, craft beers, vegan beers, and some excellent distilled wines, gins, and other local spirits. So thanks to Bruce and the team down there. Get down there now that lockdown has opened up a bit, and you guys in Newcastle have the ability to get out and about, drop in, see Bruce, mention Loaded Mag, mention me, and get in there and get yourself some fine ales and drink for the weekend. So thanks to Centre Rail for their continued sponsorship.
Nice one, Martin. And okay, I think we're going to wrap it up, lads. And I want to thank Keith for coming on. Nice to meet you, Keith. Put a face to the name. And thanks, Steve, for coming on. And just to repeat as well what we said a few of our Loaded Football Weekly shows. Thanks a million for all your help when we got started up. And thanks for letting us use your channel. And we didn't break it.
No, well done, lad. Keep it going. Don't. Look, it's a hard slog getting to where you need to get to, but just keep it going. You've got some great content. You have some good guests, and keep it going, lads.
That's no problem. And the few shows that we did run, can I just ask, can we have our 5,000 subs back? I'm not joking.
Hey, I've given you plenty free publicity, lads. I
know you have. No, look, again, same as Daz, I reiterate. Listen, Steve, thanks very much for getting us going. And, we are forever indebted. So thanks for coming on. We're really delighted to have you on. And, long time overdue, I think, but I'm sure we'll have you on again. So thanks very much indeed.
Cheers. And nice to put a name to the face with Keith as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for coming on as well, Steve. Obviously, you've been fantastic for the support you've given the channel, but also myself, to Martin and Daz off the screen that people don't see as well. You've been a huge support to all of us, so we all appreciate that greatly, mate. Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, mate. Great to be on.
We'll get you back on again, Steve, very shortly when our takeover goes through.
Thanks, lads.
Thanks, everyone.
No worries, guys. That's
Talk
it.
to you later.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks.